Guys, this is Sleevecard, and today we're going to be playing a little Pokemon TCGO here on the channel, because I wanted to test out this new deck that I actually just got, and that would be the Heart Shield deck. This deck comes with the Magearna, not EX, I want to say Magearna-EX, but it's just a regular Magearna Tin. So this is, if you remember, probably like a couple months ago, 2 months ago, something like that, we opened up the Magearna Tin. And I just now got around to putting in the code to getting the deck, because each of those tins comes with their own theme deck. But I just went ahead and put in the code, so we ended up getting Heart Shield, which is a steel normal type, or metal colorless, since we're playing TCG. It's a metal colorless deck, but let's go ahead and take a look at it, and then we're going to test it out, just because I'm kind of curious to see how this plays, how well it works. I haven't even taken a look at it. I literally put the code in like 2 seconds ago. So, let's see. So it looks like we have Cobalion. Oh, and this is Quick Guard Cobalion. So this is the Steam Siege one. And as you guys can kind of see on the screen, it's actually not a bad card, because you can use Quick Guard to basically prevent any damage from attacks during your next turn on that card, and it prevents any attacks from basic Pokemon, which sounds a little restricted, but as you guys know, since you're watching this, you probably play the game yourself, a lot of EX monsters, or EX Pokemon, are basics. The only ones that aren't really are like Megas. Actually, I don't know. Are the Megas considered basic? I don't know, but pretty much every EX Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, so this would prevent that damage. And then it comes with Revenge Blast, which does more damage, basically the farther into the game you go, because as your opponent picks up more prize cards, it'll add on an additional 30 damage. So this is this is potentially a really solid card, because if you think about it, if we're 5 cards down, where they've already picked up 5 prize cards, you're dishing out 210 damage, which is not a bad position to be in for a basic non-EX for only 2 energy. It comes with 4 Beldum. Actually, how many? I didn't check how many. Oh, only 1 Cobalion. I would not mind if that number was a little higher. I wouldn't mind, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 Cobalions if I was rebuilding this deck, but of course it's like a basic starter deck. So we have 4 Beldums, which means we're probably going to have 3 Matangs and 2 Metagross. No, 4. Okay, so we do have 4 Matangs. I'm used to seeing like the pyramids in Pokemon where it's, you know, like 4, 3, 2, which really suck, because nobody actually builds their deck that way, but that's just the way they kind of like to do it. So we have 4 Matangs. Nothing really exciting to see there. And we end up with 2 Metagross. So I mean, honestly, if this was me, I would trade off 1 Beldum, 1 Matang, and take those other 2 cards, convert them into Cobalions, and then find some way to add like a 3rd Metagross, probably. So I don't know that I've actually seen this Metagross before. This one has Magnet Warp as an ability, so that is once per turn, once during your turn, before your attack, you may switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. If you do, your opponent switches his... Okay, so that's not bad. So basically you're forcing a switch, which actually can be really beneficial, because then you can build up something decent on the bench and automatically swap out just by having this out on the bench, and then swap out something else as well, or, you know, force a switch on your opponent's side as well. And Iron Cannon, 80 damage. You may discard all metal energy. I almost said steel again. Had to catch myself. You may discard all metal energy attached to this Pokemon. If you do, this attack does 80 more damage. That's okay. I don't really, or I'm not a big fan, rather, of attacks where I have to discard a lot of energy. Like, I know they're common, and they're pretty commonplace, especially amongst, like, fire types and things along that nature. But I've just never been a big fan, because I don't like the idea of putting all that energy on and then, like, throwing my resources away. Then we have 3 Mawwiles. So the Mawwiles are Tight Jaw, flip a coin. If head, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed, and Cavernous I want to say carnivorous, but I know it's not that. So, cavernous. Chop was 50 damage. This just looks like a filler card. So again, like I wish instead of getting 3 of these, we've gotten something a little better. Like more Jirachi. So this is the Roaring Skies Jirachi. And it comes... This actually isn't a bad card. This is the Roaring Skies Jirachi. And basically it lets you look at your deck. So the top 7 cards, you pick any card. You could add 1 into your hand. So it's not a bad searcher, especially later in the game when your deck kind of thins out. So as you guys, if you guys watch the channel and you've seen me play a couple of my own decks, I like to thin my deck out quite a bit because I always look at it like the goal in any deck in any card game is not to have cards in your deck. The goal is to get them into your hand or someplace where they're playable. So this really helps because it'll help you search out. And then you can discard all energy attached to this Pokemon, and the defending Pokemon is knocked out at the end of your opponent's next turn. Alright, so it's kind of like a Perish Song, but not really Perish Song, because you aren't fainting as well. But that's not bad, because then you can actually KO some big heavy hitters right there. Then we have... What the hell? Hang on. I gotta look at this real quick. Oh, it's 3. I was looking at this number right here, thinking that that was the amount in the deck, actually, but I made a mistake because I was like, I forgot this is how many I actually possess that are trade locked, but I'm looking at it like there's no way there's 5 Zigzagoons on this deck. That makes no sense. But we have Zigzagoon, which means we're also going to have a Linoon, and we do have the Linoon. And there we go. Oh, it is EX. I don't know why. I was thinking just Magearna, but it doesn't make sense for them to have a regular non-EX Tin out there. So it is the Magearna-EX Tin. It's an okay one, actually, with Mystic Heart. So it basically... I don't know. I keep saying basically and stuff like that, but it prevents all effects from our opponent's attacks except for damage. So it's not too bad because if you... Think about this, and then you pair it up with like Cobalion, where you're negating the damage, and then this one's negating the effects. You can actually get Cobalion out late game and set up for a decent amount of damage to kind of sweep if need be. As far as attacks, it starts at 120. I don't really care much for its attack because it's 120, but then basically every turn after that it's going to be 60 because... It's 120, the next turn it's going to be 60 due to its effect, but then because I'm using it again, the effect kicks in again, so it's 60 again. It's just not really that exciting. So just look at it as like a one-time 120, unless... Now that I think about it, unless, of course, we use like Metagross's ability to keep swapping it in and out, which would not be that... It wouldn't be that difficult, but it would be kind of a lot of playing around. Then we have our trainers. So we have Potion, Heavy Ball, Max Elixir, Reverse Valley, in Professor Sycamore, Skyla, Ninja Boy, Psychic's Third Eye, the Float Stone, a Fighting Fury Belt, a Shield Energy. So this one can be attached to a Metal Pokemon. This card provides metal energy only while this is attached to a metal Pokemon. Any damage done to the metal Pokemon. Alright, I mean, it basically just weakens attacks. And then we have our energy. Okay. So nothing too exciting as far as trainer cards, stuff like that. But enough of me flipping through the deck and rambling. Let's go ahead and click test deck. Obviously, that means we're going to get a CPU opponent. Sorry, anytime I get a new deck, I always go up against a CPU opponent just to kind of get a feel for it. And what did it say she had? Like fighting colorless. Okay, so we get our hand. Not too great. I mean, we're obviously forced to have Mawile out as our starter. So it could be a better hand, honestly. But that's where Sycamore comes in. But first, let's go ahead. I'm going to send out Reverse Valley now. And we want this side to face us. Because this side right here, if you guys didn't read it when I was doing the flip through, or if you, actually because I flipped through it really fast, basically any damage done to this side of the field, so our side that is pointing to, any damage done to metal Pokemon actually is reduced by 10, so it's just a nice resistance piece. Whereas this side, so the side facing our opponent, is going to increase their dark type attacks. And I will go ahead and drop 1 energy onto Mawile. I love how it's like flashing. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it like flashes that it's a fire energy. It keeps doing it. Kind of a glitch, not too bad, but something I can live with. So we're gonna go ahead and just discard that hand and have Sycamore bring us out some more goodies. Oh, yes, 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 please. So let's bring out Beldum and Cobalion. Because Cobalion is really the one that we want brought out. Fighting Fury Belt. I am going to put the Fighting Fury Belt onto Cobalion, actually. Because the way I kind of predict this happening is that Cobalion is going to be really the go-to Pokemon, I feel like. So with that, we're going to end our turn. But I feel like Cobalion is going to be really our ace in the hole for this match. Because... Just because. Honestly, I felt like I was going to say something, but I lost my train of thought there. So we get our next energy. This one, we're actually going to put the special energy, but I'm going to go ahead and put it on Cobalion because I want to start powering Cobalion up. And while we're at it, we're going to evolve Beldum into Matang. But anyways, what I was going to say is the way I feel is Cobalion is going to be our ace because of its like Revenge Blast. So once each player shuffles their... So let's use N. We're going to get 6 cards out of this. Obviously, they're going to lose a card because they have 7. Now they're going to go down to 6. But what I was going to say is, I feel like what we're going to do is we'll leave Mawile out and kind of just let Mawile take the hit, so to speak. And we'll drop the other Fighting Fury Belt here. But we're going to let Mawile kind of take the hit just so that they pick up a prize card and it powers up Cobalion, and we'll kind of go from there. But I am going to use Heavy Ball right now. Let's see what I can get out. So we can get out Metagross if we want to, or we can get out Jirachi. Do we want okay, so let's see. So we have Magearna, right? So let's look at the pros and cons here. So we have Magearna, but actually what I want is Metagross. So let's take Metagross, because then we can evolve next turn to have Metagross out, and then with this ability, that'll actually let us start forcing some switches. Can't use Psychic's Eye, blah, blah, blah. We will go ahead and use Tight Jaw just to deal a little bit of damage and potentially paralyze. Which it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. The one thing I've learned about this game is I never get any hacks, coin flips. None of that ever goes our way, so... You know, I say that it never goes our way, but then watch, one of these days it is going to go our way. What the hell is going on here? Oh, I feel stupid. So I didn't think about it, but I put the Fighting Fury Belt on here. Even though it says the basic Pokemon, so it actually isn't going to do anything. Well, I feel dumb now, but that is okay, because I am used to feeling dumb, especially when I play Pokemon trading card game online after a while. Let's go ahead and drop another energy on here. That's really all we need on there, because now he'll start dealing out damage. I'm going to go ahead and use Psychic's Third Eye. So let's see what they have. Nothing too exciting, nothing too exciting. Oh, Minxiao. I don't like that. Alright, nothing too threatening. I mean, Min Xiao's there, but it's really not too bad. And we're actually going to discard... I won't discard the energy. I'm just going to discard Lai Noon for right now to get another card out. Because, I mean, Zigzagoon and Lai Noon aren't really helping us in any way. And it works out because we get Magearna. So now we don't even have to worry about anything but damage. And then I will use the Tight Jaw. So like I said, all I'm doing right now is I'm leaving Mawile out. Even though with Metagross we could reasonably swap out to Cobalion and start dishing out decent damage, I'm actually leaving Mawile out and kind of letting Mawile just take the hit. As sadistic as it sounds, we're going to let Mawile faint if possible so we can get Cobalion out with a nice little bit of strength on it. Da, 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 da. I will put that energy right there on Magearna. And let's dish some more Tight Jaw action. And it's paralyzed. Woo! I mean, so we lose the paralysis on Binnacle, but that's not bad because, one, it forced him to waste that card, and two, we kind of wanted the damage anyways, so it's all good. Come on, Bessie. Another Tight Jaw. Let's just keep getting some chip damage off. And then, realistically, this turn, as long as he doesn't flip like Two Tails, which he doesn't, so we are gonna lose Mawile this turn, which is fine because now Cobalion does 60 damage. Now actually, you know what? I am gonna send out another Mawile, and I feel like right now we just let Mawile kind of soak up the hits, hopefully get KO'd here shortly. In the turn. Do 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 do. Come on, Two Tails. It seems weird that or not weird. I am at least. I'm rooting for them to get as many coin flips as possible. And we are gonna go ahead and use N. Get a new handout, so I'll bring out 6 cards for us. And here's all of our Zigzagoons, it looks like. This would be a nice time to have Psychic's Third Eye again, because I would just dump literally half of our hand and get some fresh cards. But we'll go ahead and end right there. Woo! Binnacle! Damage decreased. Alright, whatever. So now, what that means is each one of these is going to do 90 damage. Each one of these beloved attacks will do 90 damage, and plus, when you factor in the Fighting Fury belt right here, that means we should do 100 damage off of this attack. Which is not a bad place to be in, actually. But real quick, we will use the Heavy Ball. I want to see if I can get... Come on, Heavy Ball. I want to see if we can get Jirachi out. If possible, just to have that kind of waiting in the wings for us. Oh, we can't because Jirachi doesn't have the retreat cost that we need. But that's okay. We'll get the other Metagross out. And like I said, I'm all about thinning the deck. So with the other Metagross, that'll actually bring the deck down quite a bit. Or not quite a bit, but, you know, bring it down by another card. So we're already operating at 19 cards to their 35, which goes to show you how fast we've been getting draws between N and things of that nature. So Cobalion will come out. We're going to go ahead and knock out that Revenge Blast and knock out that Barnacle. So there we go. So we hit the 100 damage. And now, hopefully, this actually will be a clean sweep right here. Actually, I shouldn't say clean sweep because they already got 2 Pokemon on us, but I feel like the comeback is now in order. Skyla, blah, 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 blah. Damage decreased. Alright. Beldum can come here. That energy can go on Beldum. That way we can get our other Metagross out, just in case. Skyla is going to come out now. Come on, Skyla. Oh, we do have another Psychic's Third Eye. Yes, please. Come here. We're going to take Psychic's Third Eye. Obviously, we can't use it this turn because Skyla is the support we just used, but next turn, that means we can at least dump 3 cards. Hopefully freshen up our hand. Ideally, we'd get a potion out of it. And yes, before you guys say everything and blow up the comments, I know I could have gotten a potion a second ago with Skyla, but I'd rather run the risk of... Well, now we're going to get 4 cards, but now I'd rather run the risk of not getting a potion and drawing 4 cards, or rather I'd say I'd rather run the risk of getting it off the 4 cards we're about to draw as opposed to just getting it and having nothing. And we get Jirachi out of this deal, so that's all good. So drop Jirachi down. Let's go ahead and bring out Psychic's Third Eye. Oh, that's all they have? Okay, whatever. And we're going... Oh, any number of cards I want to discard. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we're going to discard all 4 of those cards. Get some fresh new goodies out. See, so we did get the potion, so it all worked out. So we will drop a potion onto Cobalion. And a float stone. No, we don't need the float stone. That's okay. But I will put a metal energy onto Jirachi. So now everything on our side of the field is actually protected by Magearna's ability. And then we're going to drop out some Revenge Blasts. So I think overall, I mean, I'm actually pretty happy with the way this deck works. I know the only 2 decks that I recall testing out on here that we've gotten from tins, honestly, is this one and the one that came in the Xerneas EX Tin that was like the rainbow deck, and it had to deal with the amount of various energies you had. So like the more variety you had, the more damage Xerneas did. And I remember that deck was okay, like it was kind of Revenge Blast. I mean, if it were up to me, I would definitely make a couple more tweaks, like, instead of having the 3 Beldum or whatever, instead of having like the excess Beldum and Matang, I would rather swap that out for maybe like either another Metagross or definitely more Cobalion. Like, I could see this thing having 2 or 3 Cobalion, probably a couple Jirachi. I would entirely scrap the Zigzagoon and Linoon line. I would scrap like Zigzagoon and Linoon definitely to pump up Jirachi, Cobalion, Magearna, and Metagross. Like, I would just use that to streamline it, and I would probably swap out most of the trainer cards. For example... Like, don't get me wrong before I say for example, but don't get me wrong, but the trainer cards aren't that bad, but they are definitely, like, starter deck-ish. So I would swap out some of the trainer cards, probably. Woo! Maybe change out and get, like, Battle Compressor, stuff along that line, stuff along those lines. Come on. And actually, another one now I'm thinking about, I would actually get rid of Floatstone as well. Since I'm looking at it in my hand, I would get rid of Floatstone as well. Just because I feel like Floatstone is kind of redundant with Metagross. Because what's the point, honestly, what's the point of having Floatstone if I have the Metagross out and their ability, you know, allows me, I wouldn't say forces me, but, you know, allows me to switch. But with that being said, let's drop out the last Revenge Blast, and that is going to go ahead and actually win us the match. Woo! Victory! Victory is ours! So it did take us 15 minutes and 31 seconds to win the game with our MVP, Cobalion, as if there was any other choice. So overall, like I said, I like the deck. I actually feel it's probably one of the better theme decks I've seen on here. I mean, if you can consider it a theme deck, because it's not really sold as a theme deck. But I would consider at least one of the better 10 decks I've seen, if that makes any sense. I'm kind of thinking about it. So it's definitely, I feel like, one of the better 10 decks. I would up the trainer cards. I would definitely change and streamline certain areas more if you wanted to take this deck and make it more competitive. But if you were to play it as it is, you probably wouldn't be like crushing tournaments or any kind of competitive play. But you could probably, you know, throw down with your friends and do some decent damage. But with that being said, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Now that you've heard my thoughts, let me know what your thoughts are on this deck down in the comments section below. I love how, like, subconsciously I just pointed down, even though I don't have a face cam on. But let me know what you guys think about the deck down in the comments. Like it, love it. What would you change about it? That would be my other question. So you know what I would change about it? I would definitely streamline the Pokemon. Like I said, I would tweak some of the trainer cards. That's what I would change. What would you change? Would you do the same thing? Would you add in a different card entirely that you feel like this deck's missing? Anything like that, let me know down below. I'm actually kind of curious to see what you guys think. Maybe if it's an interesting idea, I will actually tweak the deck myself, and then we'll test it out with your changes. Who knows? But with that being said, guys, let me know down below what you think. If you liked what we did today, if you are excited about the video, the triumph of the Heart's Shield Magearna deck, even though it was really a Cobalion deck, but the Magearna deck, hit that thumbs up button for me down below. And of course, if you haven't already done so, it would mean so much to me if you guys also click that subscribe button, just so we can keep up to date with each other. What's going on the channel? What's going on with you guys? Let me know. Click on that subscribe button. But with that being said, guys, I am going to go ahead and get on out of here for the day. This is Sleevecard signing out. Have yourselves a beautiful day, and I will see you later.